Why, hello there. Today I'm going to be doing a fairly detailed, not particularly short, and fairly simple guide on how to defeat the magma boss in the Crimson Isles. Thankfully, this guide's going to be shorter than the last one, which I made. It was about 20 minutes, and OBS decided that it didn't want to work properly because my settings were wrong. So, right. Defeating the magma slime boss, you're going to want a short bow. In stage A and B, which is the first main stages of the boss, it'll alternate between A and B. You can't damage it with anything but melee damage and bow damage. Ability and magic damage doesn't work until the final stage, so you're going to want a short bow. I'm not even going to try showing you what it's like whacking it with melee damage. It just sucks. I did it as an example in the first video version of this I made. It really just sucked. I'm just going to leave this in my inventory, I guess, but you're going to want a short bow, unfortunately. There's Spirit short bow, Mosquito short bow, Juju short bow, and there's no point telling you about Terminators because if you know, well, I mean, you might, yeah, there's also Terminators, but you're probably not going to have a Terminator and need to watch this guide. It's not really going to happen. So, get yourself a short bow, get yourself a bunch of attack speed. As for equipment, armor, etc., I mean, if you can get Terra armor, it does things with bows. It's nice, but if you don't have Kudra completion to use it. Look, any damage armor will do. As far as magical power goes, now, you know what magical power is? Just, give it a quick internet search. Get yourself lots of attack speed. 100 attack speed is nice. I should have 100 at the moment, but I don't have my... I suggest itchy power. 100 attack speed with a bow, at least 100 is ideal. If not 100, then look up the Hypixel bonus attack speed chart thing. So, yeah. All right. Now, let me equip my pet that I'm going to use for this. You can use a magma slime pet or magma cube pet. It does a little bit more damage to magmas. I'm not sure if it works on the boss. You can give it a go. Skeleton pet would probably be the number one pick. It's pretty cheap and it gives you bonus bow damage. Now, this is how to get to the boss, which I probably should have explained. There we go. That's the boss. So... that was probably a little quick. I'm not making this again. Alright, so you saw that. You run to the front of the stairs. You'll get to this bit and you'll be like, where do I go? You can go left or right. I suggest going to the right. And then you'll come around to this entrance. You go into the entrance and there'll be a fork to go out or a fork to go in. You'll go in and then there'll be a fork to go left and down or up. You want to go up towards the lava. And then you'll be in the, as you can, I think this is the pleb glass pool, I believe. The pleb glass, anyway. So, don't get lost on which entrance you come in, because as you can see, there's this dude over here, there's an entrance there, and there's an entrance there. You want to go straight across, straight forward, until you see this pattern. See this? Magma slime boss. Alright, let's get at it. So, get your short bow. You want to stand somewhere in between the bedrock and the blocks thing here. You want to avoid these red flamey things. They hurt a lot. You also don't want to go too close to the boss, as it will occasionally slam down and some blocks will ripple out and that'll do a bunch of damage. All you need to do, get your bow, sit opposite the boss and just do this. Now these things can be redirected back at the boss. These flaming things that it shoots, they do a bit of damage, which is annoying. You can either dodge them, like a dat, or you can just hit them back at the boss with your arrows. Now, the thing is, when your arrow hits one of them, I believe it may also block the arrow. So, depending on how much damage you're taking, you may be better off just either avoiding your arrow hitting it and taking, or just taking the damage, or even just trying to dodge it. You also know, now, I don't believe the lava pools block the arrows. I believe it's just those explosive orb things that block arrows. So, now, as for where you want to position yourself, just position yourself opposite the boss. When the boss moves, you move. Here we go, stage B. For stage B, you want to avoid the unstable magmas. You'll see this small unstable magma here. If you go too close to that, it has a tendency to explode and kill you. There's also the magma glares. They basically just target you like a fighter jet. You want to run around in a circle, shooting your bow towards the middle without looking too much at the magma glares, while also trying not to run near the unstable magmas. If you do get really close to one, they tend to explode. Now, I'm having some pretty good luck with them so far, though. Okay. It's not too bad. I think it's mostly... I think mostly when they die, they explode and do a decent bit of damage. The magma glares, though, if they get a good lock on you, as you can see on the top of them there, it said targeting Rago the rabbit, you just suddenly die. It's really annoying. You just get suddenly deleted. If that happens, just try and get back to the boss as quick as possible, and usually if you're lucky, the boss won't reset, and you can just continue on, which I'll show in a second. Okay, now we're back to stage A. It's pretty simple. Just try and stay opposite the boss. Try not to get in the lava if you can. For me, it's not too big a deal because I've got lots of true defense and stuff like that. You don't want to go back too far because you'll just end up in these red flamey things which hurt. Just try and stay opposite the boss and then just do damage to it. You'll see on the right, in the middle of the screen, it says boss 20%. Basically means you're part way through the boss. There's 20%, 40%, and 60%. The boss apparently does get angers and it does more damage as you go through each stage. And when it gets to 80%, I believe it goes to the final stage. You also see a bar where it says damage soaked. As the bar fills up with yellow, the boss is taking more damage. And eventually, once that bar fills up, although mine might be a little bit too far across on my screen, I might need to change that. I'm using mods, so that's why it's across so far. It'll goes yellow to orange, and then boom, it explodes, and we go back to stage B. Now, if you're doing this, and oh gee, these magma glares, they look nice. Oh, I looked at them too much, and I got deleted. So I'm going to quickly get back to this boss, and hopefully, since there's enough other players around and just do the mechanics of things, it won't have reset, and I can just run back to it and continue doing the boss. Should probably do that with the bow, not my sword. Yep. Magma glare got me. As you can see in the chat, you were killed by magma glare. You've really got to watch out for those magma glares. You'd want to try not to look directly at their eyes. This is the bit that's dangerous. Looking at the back and side of them, not so bad, but they'll want to try and look at you. And when you look at them in the eyes, or they look at you in the eyes, you just get deleted. It's a really annoying mechanic. It doesn't matter how far you are through the game stage. You just get deleted. I'm not sure if a Withercloak sword will avoid that damage. But yeah, now, usually when running around in these circles, I'll try to avoid the unstable magmas, but I don't think they're actually as bad as I remember. But if you're an early-ish game yep, see, I got too close again. That's something you want to avoid doing. Now, if you're new to the Crimson Isles, just warping back to the boss really quickly is going to be a bit difficult. You're going to want to try and learn that route because you're probably going to die. I still die to the magma glares occasionally. They're quite annoying. So, sometimes you'll be coming through here, there'll be magma glares everywhere, you'll be going left and right and jumping. Well, I'm not sure if jumping necessarily works particularly well. That one died, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, just try and get yourself plenty of movement speed, God Potion on, have sprinting toggled on if you can, or if you don't have a toggle for sprinting, just try and keep sprinting on so that you move a little bit faster in skyblock. I'm out of arrows. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, this is the second time I did this video, so I ran out. Oh no! No! Where's my quiver? Now, remember, ability damage doesn't work on the boss, and I don't believe it works on these little dudes either. Hey! Ability damage works on these dudes. All right, well there you go. I just learned something new. You don't have to use a bow on those if you really want to. You can use magic damage on them. I just learnt something new today. Alright, back to stage A again. Let's get some water in this. Get some water in this. I was going to say a phrase after, is this? But I figured that would probably be less appropriate for the video. This is the second time I've had to do this video, so my mouth's got a bit dry. I've already been speaking for like half an hour now. which is longer than anyone really needs to hear me speak. I get it, it's boring. But look, you know, I'm giving you lots of detail on this boss. That's the reason I'm making this video, because I've seen some other videos and they're great. They're just lacking a little bit of detail potentially. So I'm just trying to give you the information that I've learnt through having done this boss for a couple of years. I've been doing this boss since I was quite an early game player. I had no idea what I was doing. I used to just run around and try and avoid these flame things. Sorry, I remember to speak slower. I used to run around and try to avoid these flame things, and it sucked. And then eventually I figured out that you can just stand opposite the boss in the middle with a bow and just keep whacking it. Well, shooting it with the bow, not whacking it, obviously, because melee damage really isn't ideal. Back to stage B. Now, when transferring between stage A and stage B, you'll see that these flame things will still come up for a little bit. You may want to remember to not just run out and run straight into one of those flame things on the ground when it's transitioning from stage A to stage B. You'll notice too that I've also changed direction, which I find annoying. I like to travel clockwise. I think this is clockwise. I don't think it really matters whether you go anti-clockwise or clockwise. Just pick a direction and stick with it, basically, or not. It doesn't really matter. So now, if I can quickly, you can also do magic damage to these. So if you want to at this point, I'm going to run out of mana too quickly, you can use a magic damage weapon on these during stage B instead of a bow. For me, to make it easier, I'm just going to stay with a bow, but if you want, you can switch your setup between stage A and stage B and use magic damage instead if it's easier for you. Just remember to avoid letting the magma glares look at you from a close distance. They'll lose focus from you if you can go a bit of a distance away from them. Here we go. The magma boss angers, plus 20% damage. Alright, now we're at boss at 60%, so we're 60% of the way for the boss. And we're back to stage A again, so I'm just going to sit here and waffle a little bit while I hit arrows at it. Again, trying to get my arrows to go at it without hitting those flaming orb things, because that blocks arrows, which will reduce the DPS a little bit. So, might be a good idea to move around so that you can avoid the flaming orbs, and also your arrows will go try and avoid the same trajectory as the orbs, but that can be easier said than done, so it may be worth just, you know what, she'll be right, and just sitting there and not worrying too much about your arrows getting blocked by those flaming orbs. I think they're, I can't remember the exact specific Minecraft name for them. But anyway. Alright, sweet, back to stage B. And sort of slowly move out. If you want, just sort of transition between the two, remembering that these flame things on the outsides are still starting to disappear. This kind person over here just deleted them with a Terminator bow. Thank you. All right. Now we're at 80% for the boss. Okay. So back through stage A. This person's just going to delete this boss with a Terminator. Thank you very much, Mr. Dirt to Potato. That is truly a username of all time. And then once. Alright, damage soaked, the bar's filling up, not going to matter, just keep shooting your arrows at it until it goes back to the middle, and then it explodes again, and we're back to stage B. Just going to try and run around in circles, get rid of all these mobs, sort of aiming towards the middle, just enough, but not too much, so that they all get a lock on me. Again, you can use magic damage if you want. Okay, Dirt to Potato lost interest and left. Nope, never mind. Someone else has come in. The boss is nearly done, so this person's like, let's give it a go. Why not? The boss is fleeing. At this stage, you can use any damage you want. Ability, magic damage, melee damage, bow damage. All of them work. It's just going to bounce around, shoot flaming orbs everywhere. Sometimes it'll go out into the lava, which is a bit annoying. Hitting it with a bow can be a bit difficult. Hitting it with a sword, also a bit annoying because it bounces around so much. Magic damage, ability damage may be the best way to go with something explodey like a Spirit Scepter or a Dreadlord Sword or whatever works. If you have a Hyperion, well, that would be ideal, but I don't think you're going to need this guide if you have a Hyperion. And there you go. That is the Magma boss done. Hopefully I didn't speak too fast through some of this video. This is the second time I've made this, so I started to get a bit impatient. I want to go buy a croissant because I'm hungry. So anyway, there you go. Hopefully this video was helpful. I know it was very rambly. I believe the Gen Alphas or young people would say something like, "Holy yap, this video too long for real, on God, no cap." But anyway, this will do it. So, so long and goodbye. Professor Rango signing out. Now, it'd be really convenient if this outro would